The Purloined Letter by Edgar Allan Poe. Summary. The narrator and his friend, the private detective C. Auguste Dupin, were sitting in the library of Dupin in a sort of meditation in an autumn evening in 18. They were thinking of the two cases which Dupin had successfully investigated. The door was suddenly opened and Monsieur G., the prefect of the Parisian police, entered. He had come to seek Dupin's opinion in an official matter that had created a great deal of trouble. He said, "It is a simple but very odd affair." "Perhaps the mystery is a little too plain," said Dupin. The prefect explained. "A certain document of the last importance has been purloined from the royal apartment. The individual who purloined it is known. It is also known that it still remains in his possession. If the content of the letter is known to a third person, it will affect the honor of a person in an exalted station." So, the letter is stolen from the royal apartment, and the person who stole is known by the royal personage, and if anyone came to know about the matter inside the letter, then it will be a great problem for the royal kingdom, and the royal authorities wants to prevent that. That's why the prefect is here. The prefect is here to ask for the help of Dupin. So Dupin is an investigative officer. He's very cunning, intelligent. He's a very brilliant, brave officer, a detective. He can almost find every cases, and that's why this prefect is here to ask for the help of Dupin. The thief is the Minister D. Document is a letter the exalted personage received. As she was reading it, the other exalted personage from whom she wanted to conceal it entered. She could not hide it in the drawer, but placed it on the table. The address was uppermost, but the letter escaped notice. At this time entered the Minister D., who noticed the letter and recognized the handwriting. Pretending to do some official work, he made another letter with different content and same address, placed it near the original, which he took into his possession. The real owner noticed it, but feared to prevent the minister because she feared more to bring it to the notice of the other exalted personage. So, this is the way how Minister D has stolen the letter. So the thief is Minister D. As the royal personage was reading this letter, suddenly the other royal personage from whom she wants to protect that letter came in, and she just kept that letter in the table. And while the meantime, Minister D also came into the room, and Minister D saw the letter, and he took the letter and he put away another letter with same address and different content in it. So the royal personage has no idea that the letter has been stolen until the royal personage read that letter. D had used the possession of the letter to great political advantage, and in order to prevent further damage, the royal personage had requested the prefect to retrieve the letter. So, at any cost, they want to retrieve the letter because it will cause great political damage to their kingdom. The prefect started searching the minister's hotel using all his personal advantage with him and without rousing any suspicion. The search for the letter was extensive and thorough, but the letter has not been discovered. As the minister was often away from home at night and his officers went to sleep, the police got enough time for search. They examined all the rooms, all the furniture, used needles to search the cushions. They used a powerful microscope to search the rungs of the chairs. They probed the beds and the bedclothes. curtains and carpets. They searched the house, its premises, including the two houses immediately adjoining. They searched all the books and book covers. Now, there is no place, no article that escaped their notice. So, they have searched every nook and corner of the house. There is not a place that has left unnoticed. The prefect asked Dupin what could be done next. Dupin said him to give a complete description of the letter, and the prefect made a full account and left Dupin to proceed by himself. The prefect visited Dupin after a month. The letter was not yet found, in spite of another search. Dupin asked him what was the reward offered for the discovery. The prefect said it was a big sum, and he was ready to give 50,000 francs for anyone who would find out the letter. Dupin asked him to write a check for the amount, and the moment he delivered it to him, he would give him the letter. The prefect wrote the check and gave it. Dupin gave him the letter. The prefect opened the letter, read its content, and rushed out of the room. Dupin explained to the narrator the method he followed in discovering the letter by quoting some instances. So, Dupin had handed over the letter to the prefect, and Dupin explained the method he has taken to discover the letter to the narrator. In solving any riddle where an enemy is involved, the first principle to follow is the thought of the enemy instead of following our thought. So, step into the shoes of Minister D. A schoolboy who plays the even and odd game wins by guessing what the other person thinks. The identification of the reasoner's intellect with that of his opponent. The method of mathematics is based on measures and material facts and cannot be applied to morals or pure reasonings. The minister was sure of an investigation. He made it easy for the investigators by absenting himself on several nights and giving them time to search and think the letter is not in the premises. We do not usually care for the big letters on signboard. The prefect did not think it possible that the minister had deposited the letter immediately beneath the nose of the whole world by way of best preventing any portion of that world from perceiving it. He thought it best not attempting to conceal it at all. So, the minister has hidden the letter in his letterbox itself. So, no one will care for the big letters in the signboard. That was his measure of preventing the letter from to be seen. So that's how he concealed the letter from all the other world. And Dupin here tells how he got hold of the letter. One fine morning, wearing a pair of green spectacles, he entered the ministerial hotel. D was at home. Dupin told him of his weak eyes, and under cover of the green spectacles thoroughly viewed the room while continuing their talk. There was nothing particular on the big table, but there was a trumpery card rack hung from the mantelpiece. There he saw 5 or 6 visiting cards and a letter. It was a crumpled letter, but the very same letter that he was searching for. He protracted his visit and carefully observed the shape and form of the letter. So Dupin was carefully observing the letterbox and all the letters that was hung in that signboard. When he left the house, he had deliberately left his gold snuff box on the table. The next morning, he came for the snuff box and engaged the minister with an interesting discussion. So on one fine day, he came and he investigated the room. He has carefully observed the whole house and he went out. And on the second day, he came in a pretense as to take back his gold snuff box, and there he engaged in an interesting talk with the minister. While they were talking, The loud sound of a pistol was heard beneath the windows, succeeded by fearful screams. The minister went to the window and looked down. In the meantime, Dupin took away the letter from the cart rack and placed there another one with the same shape. The disturbance in the street was caused by a man firing his rifle at women and children, but there was no ball, and the fellow was allowed to go as a lunatic. When Dee came back from the window, Dupin bade him farewell. The pretended lunatic was a man in Dupin's pay. According to the instruction of Dupin, this man shot a woman and children on the street. And this has grabbed the attention of Minister D, and Minister D suddenly looked throughout the window to see what is happening on the streets. And what is the fun here is that this man is let free because he was a lunatic. He was at last found to be a lunatic, and he was freed. And when D came back from the window, Dupin has bade him farewell, and Dupin has took the letter from the signboard and escaped without the notice of Minister D. And this is how Dupin has taken away the letter, and the pretended lunatic was a man in Dupin's pay. This is the summary of the story, and this is how they retrieved the letter from the minister's possession.